Good morning, folks. Good afternoon, good evening, when or wherever you may be. Now, I'm making this video because I have been hearing such an amount of stupidity online that I feel like it's my duty to just come out and talk with you. And we are going to talk about economics. And we are going to see and understand some very hard facts. In fact, let me just do something right here next door. All right. Now, there's been a lot of talking about the recent money grab by the United States towards Europe, in which they want us to reduce our green taxes, and they are saying something as simple as this is basically what they are saying. Okay, they are saying we are receiving Chinese steel and producing things and selling to them, so you are going to get taxed. Okay, very basically, this is what it is. And what is this? This is a way to try and add taxes to European products being imported into the United States. It's a desperate money grab, and it's not like I heard some people say in a lot of democratic and anti-Trump sides. This is not a way for Europe to buy more American, because America sells jack shit to Europe. This is something you have to understand once and fucking for all. I'm making this video, and as you can see, I'm really pissed off about this. Products that Europe cannot source quickly in other places, there are only two things the United States sells to Europe. I will repeat this. There are only two major and important things that we absolutely need to negotiate that we buy from the United States: energy, fuel, and LNG, gas, and weapons that we buy for NATO and for Ukraine. We don't even buy it for ourselves because for almost 2 years now we have been sourcing our weapons from elsewhere. We have not been buying American weapons. Portugal cancelled a deal for the new F-35s or whatever the hell they call them, and we are going to another option. Germany is producing weapons. It's one of the largest producers of ammunition right now. Germany is already placing a brigade with 5,000 soldiers in the Baltic states. We are replacing you. We are removing you. And people don't seem to fucking understand this in the United States. And I keep listening to these people talking about things that no longer exist. I even heard a guy that I kind of respect, but saying something like this: these infrastructures take very long, so you won't be able to produce to sell to elsewhere. Are you fucking delirious? Do you think we are Americans? Do you really think we in Europe we act like the Americans? Do you think we work on that type of mentality that is, let's do before we know if we can do it? Because you don't seem to understand. This is something that I have witnessed, and that it's chronicle in most American YouTubers that are talking about politics, even Midas. Okay, they don't understand how Europe fucking works. We are not bloody Americans. We don't work that way. We don't think that way. It's a fundamental difference. It's a fundamental cultural difference that has become since the fall of the USSR. It has become atrociously clear. We don't have the same culture. We don't work the same way. We don't bow the same way like you do. You try to apply the same principles that have transformed the United States into a society of servants into Europe. You want to know what happens here when people start getting laid off? We burn cities. We burn cars. And our politicians know it. They know that they know even a peaceful country, more or less peaceful country, like Portugal, in which we try to solve things in a different way, and we even sometimes take a lot of shit from our government. But even here, we go berserk. Last year, I went on strike at least 2 or 3 times. This year, I will go on strike again. I don't give a crap. Because you see, here, I know that when I strike, I am going to lose a day of pay. But I prefer to lose that day of pay instead of having the consequences of bowing my head to my master. In this case here in Portugal, the particular legislation they were trying to apply in workers' rights and all of that, it's just minor changes. But it was not minor changes. It was taking away our rights. And guess what happened to that legislation? It got frozen. It got frozen and sent back to change it. Because this is how things work here. We are not fucking peasants. Okay? My great-grandfather, he lost an eye fighting against an oppressive state. During the dictatorship, I have people that got severely damaged by the fucking authoritarian regimes. We don't work this way. Go next door to Spain, you'll get the same answer. Go to France, you'll get the same answer. Go to Germany, I'm half German, okay? I heard the stories. I have told this story countless times, but this story was told to me by my grandfather that listened to it from his cousins. The land where my great-grandmother, my grandfather's mother, was born in East Prussia, you want to know what had happened to it? First, the fucking Nazis came in and they took away all the Poles and the Jews because they were cleaning the master race. Okay? Then, my family was lucky. They were able to run away before it happened. But many families were not. Many families stayed there and got the barbaric treatment of the Russian soldiers. And I will call them Russian. A lot of people call them Soviets, but they are fucking Russians to me. When the Russians came, you want to know what they did? They pillaged the town. They burned it to the ground. They bulldozed it, bulldozer over it. They erased it from the map. The same sound where countless generations of my family had existed. On my German side, I have some Baltic and Dane because my family is from that region. And I am a Portuguese citizen, okay? No doubts about it. I'm not an American that just because he had a Greek grandmother that was Irish or whatever the hell you want to call it, someone that came in the back of the boat. And I'm Irish. No, you're not Irish. You're a fucking American. This is another thing you don't understand about us. If you go and speak with a German person that is in the same position as I am, for example, one of his grandmother, as you notice, folks, there was a little interruption here in the video, but I decided not to edit this out and keep it on. But as I was saying, I understand what it means to have yourself to be uprooted from your environment. It should be simply erased, your story completely erased. And When I listen to Americans talking about that shit about being this and being that, no, my friends. If you were born in the United States of America, even by your own constitution that your lunatic in charge is trying to change, you are a bloody American. If you're half Portuguese, don't come and tell me, oh, I am Portuguese. No, you're not. You can tell me, for example, my grandparents, they came from Portugal. Okay? But you are not me. You do not think the same way we do. When I listen to people, for example, this is an example, okay? I will explain this again. I was raised in a way that it's not a typical Portuguese way. And let me just say this from the start. I wasn't raised as a rich person. I'm a son of a baker. I'm not the son of someone with money. Okay? I've been working with my hands since I was very young. So let's get this little part out of the start, sorry, of this rant, because I want people to understand who the hell is talking with them. And I was raised in a way that is a bit different from the normal Portuguese. But classic Portuguese education is as strict as a German education. Also, let me say this from the start. A classic Portuguese education is a strict education, meaning rules, politeness, and civility. After the revolution, when people got all up in arms, people forgot a bit about that culture. But recently, luckily, the next generations, they have been learning this type of culture. And when I'm talking about Portuguese citizens, I'm talking about immigrants that have come here to live with us too. This is another thing you Americans don't understand. But that is your problem, not mine. And I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you. That is for a longer stream that we need to have, and a longer discussion that we also need to have about all of that shit. Because you don't understand that societies change. You think everything is always the same, and it's not. It's fucking not. And if I'm swearing, and I will swear, don't give a crap. Not monetized. Now, let me continue. We here think in a completely different way from the Americans. You want to know what is going to happen? Imagine this. Oh, now Americans can sell Pop-Tarts in Europe. This is a bloody example. It won't happen, but imagine this happens. You want to know what is going to happen? You are going to try to sell those Pop-Tarts to Europe, and you will be able to sell them. But who the fuck is going to buy them? Who? American immigrants that are more and more here in Europe? So much so that even here in Portugal we started to have to control your entry here. Oh, you don't know that? Of course not. You just watch your little American belly button. It's getting more control, and it will get even worse as time goes by. Especially with your dear little leader doing his vaccine little dance. That is even going to get worse. And you want to know something? I'm going to be honest with you. And again, from the start, if you are a decent American person with your head on your shoulders, an honest person that just wants to work, feed his family, and be minimally happy, if you are one of those people, if you're not one of those greedy bastards, all of this monologue, when I say Americans, it's not against you. Don't include yourselves in the same group, because I don't. That is another thing Europeans don't do. We don't generalize. Americans, self-entitlement, indoctrination, lack of education, and they say everyone is the same. For example, they arrive here at Portugal, they meet some, I don't know, a Portuguese cab driver that perhaps is not even Portuguese. Half of them are not. Just like in New York, for example. And then, oh, he was very rude. Oh, you smell of curry. Oh, all the Portuguese smell of curry. Well, first of all, curry is delicious. And second of all, Portugal has been dabbling in spices that are all over our culinary since around the 1400s. This is the first thing, but you don't know this. Why? Because you are bloody ignorant. And this is what is annoying me with all these YouTubers saying, oh, they are going to back down and this and that. Look, my friend, what does it mean to you? A piece of paper with zero value. Like Chamberlain, before World War II, waving his little paper with the signature of Adolf Hitler, say, there will be no war, there will be no war. And barely months later, Hitler was doing it again. You are at that stage, that phase, the phase of being bloody stupid. You don't see the storm that is coming upon you. You don't see that even if you maintain normal relationships with the rest of the world, Canada won't trust you, Europe won't trust you, Mexico won't trust you, no one will fucking trust you. Even if you elect a Democrat president and you put him there and he starts to make amends with everyone, do you think you will have the same degree of protection and the same degree of interaction with the rest of the world that you had until now? You want to know what the United States is right now for us? A client. Because we sell a lot of shit to the United States. But do you think we are not able to reverse that in 1 year? Everyone was laughing about the safe rearmament program in Europe. In less than 1 year, up and running. Everyone was saying we would never find the great media companies and whatever. 3 months. Announced, executed. And American YouTubers, Democrat YouTubers, continue to rub the same shit. They will never do that. Now they are going to have to accept American products. My friend, you have to have a market to accept those products. And then they say, oh no, they are going to close down the factories and they are going to do this and they are going to do that. Yes, the European Union already has money in reserve to pay for those industries and manufacturers to not go down. The German state already has it too. The German state, if it cannot sell cars to the United States, do you think it will take very long to repurpose those factories to produce armament and start selling it all over the world and underpay the American companies because our weapons are more effective and they do not come with the kill switch like the American weapons? Because we know all of that. Do you think the rest of Europe is the UK that is now in a weak position? Thank you very much to Brexit. And that we hope they will be able to reverse. I honestly hope for it. I have friends in the United Kingdom. I have people online that I speak from the United Kingdom. I support a lot of channels in the United Kingdom because the people that I support are decent people that are trying to do a good job, that are giving news, that are working every day. But do you think this is the same as your country, where your citizens gleefully know that titanium, the colorant, will give them diseases and even provoke low IQ in their offspring, and they drink that Fanta, radioactive Fanta, and say, oh, it's very good, okay. This won't matter. Do you think we are those people? No, we are the kind of people that if you go into a restaurant and someone feeds us shit, we are calling the cops, or we are throwing it at your face, or we are telling you to fuck off and we will never go into that cafe again. We are these people. I am that person. I go into a shop or into a business, whatever kind of business it is, if I consider I'm not being well treated, or if they are trying to fool me, or if they fool me, imagine this: I go into a restaurant, a cafe, and I ask for a strong cafe, an espresso, something that we drink every morning. And to me, it's like a religion. It's my religion, the religion of the coffee and of the German beer. That's my religion in my daily existence as a human being. I go there, I ask for a strong coffee. They give me a weak coffee. All good. I go there a second time. They do the same shit again. I am never going to set foot in that restaurant again. I am never going to set foot in that restaurant again. Do you understand? This is how a European thinks. I always tell this joke countless times in my videos, but it's a simple way to tell people how we work. If you annoy a North European, a South European, Portuguese, a Spanish, an Italian, a French, South French, okay, whatever, even people in East Europe that sometimes in Albania and all the Balkans and all of that, that sometimes they have very similar ways to think as the Portuguese and the Spanish. This is no offense. We know we have differences, okay? I'm talking about similarities. But if you annoy that person, he will give you a big smile and ignore you. No English. Fuck off. Okay? This is how a South European will act. You want to know what a North European will do? A German, for example, that I know very well. You want to know how they will act? They will act like I do, maybe because of my upbringing. They will look at you. They will not say a word. They will not smile, and they will go away. This is something Americans don't understand. This is why Americans confuse when they are confused when in a restaurant the waiter is not constantly or hovering over them and big smiles and whatever. They don't understand this. That waiter is not your servant, not your slave. He's there to do a job, he or her. They do their job well, that's all we need. And then leave me the fuck alone. If I'm sitting down and having my little coffee and perhaps on my phone or whatever, or just watching the street, just relaxing, having my moment, I don't want anyone to fucking be over me. And if I want a glass of water, I ask for a glass of tap water. There it is. I don't need you to put ice in it, just like in my drinks. I don't want you and I don't need you to put ice in my drink and make it weaker. Right now, I seldom drink. Okay? It's just my kitty. She came to say hi to me. She's also feeling the heat. Yeah, baby. Now, if I'm having my drink, I know this is a long way from the rant, but you will understand why am I talking about this. I don't want my drink to be weaker. Like I was trying to tell you before I went out on another tangent with my kitty. Around here, I used to drink vodka. It was my drink of election. Okay, I like the vodka. I still do, but I seldom drink it because you want to know something. When you get older, you really have to be mindful of your own health, and if you get any kind of health issues, you don't want them to get worse. So you start to control what you do, what you eat, or whatever those types of things. Understand? So right now, usually I have a beer or two at the weekend and little to nothing more, because also during the week I am working and I drive, every day. Look at the European driving. Yes, yes. Some of us also have to use our cars. Okay. Uh, and I have to drive every day, and I have a policy that is as simple as this: when I'm driving, zero alcohol, zero, not a bit, because we have a limit to which we can drive safely. But to me, zero is zero, and I have my personal reasons to do that. Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you with all of this ranting is the way we think. America is trying to bully us into do something. And what they are going to find out is that we are going to do absolutely the opposite. We are going to even be, and if you were trying to, if Mr. Trump was trying to bully Europe into doing something, he's going to find out what's the real cost of all of this that he is doing. He's been burning bridges, but thus far, those bridges could still be mildly repaired with a competent president in the White House that could at least bring you a bit of normalcy. Not the trust that you used to have, but a bit of normalcy. Okay? But from this moment on, with all of this that has been going on since he's doing that shit that he's doing in Hormuz with his little buddy, the Nazi Jew, Mr. Netanyahu, because they are Nazis. I'm sorry, they're acting like Nazis. What am I going to call them? Oh, you're anti-Semitic. You're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not anti-Semitic. There are synagogues here, and I don't go around synagogues bothering people. And there are Jewish people here, and I don't go around bothering Jewish people. And I don't care about their little imaginary friend. To be against Israel and the way they are acting, it's not to be an anti-Semitic. Stop it and fuck off. What you have to understand, yes, this is a rage video, okay? And I am going to publish it because there are a lot of things that people need to hear before I then do my analytic vision of all of these issues that I am going to do also. I'm going to do a couple of calm videos in which I will talk about. But right now, I'm giving you my gut feeling, my gut reaction. And if you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. But this is who I am. If you have listened to other videos, you will know that I am always honest. I hate lies, I hate liars, and more than anything, you want to know what really, really bothers me? Pettiness and ignorance. Ignorance in the sense of stupidity, because anyone can be ignorant about anything. We are all ignorant about something. Okay, ask me to speak in Mongolian and I won't be able to do it, so I'm ignorant about the Mongolian language. Ask me to speak in Chinese, Mandarin, and I know some things. I know how to say hello and goodbye, how to ask for directions, to say yes, to say no, to say hello and thank you, okay? I know the basics in Mandarin. I've been trying to study it, but for someone that has always spoken in Latin and Germanics, it's a bit harder. But nonetheless, it's not impossible. But let's get on with it. But I always promise you to be honest. And you have to understand that all of these YouTubers, they are grabbing themselves to the little words to say, if you don't know this, he's sending letters to his allies in NATO telling them, you got to align with our policies, or we are going to seriously rethink in the way to remove our troops from your territory. And you want to know what those states are doing? They're replacing the American assets. Or do you think we are unable to source soldiers and to source means here? I work in a... No, I cannot say this. No, I cannot say this where I work. I cannot talk about my work because I have a specific clause in my job description that enables does not enables me to speak about my work and my daily business. Okay, but I will tell you just this: the number of young people here in Portugal, both men and women, that have been applying to enter in the armed forces. Let me just say this: in my region, my city, let's call it like this, you used to get, I don't know, one person every month or 2 months, one person uh, going to get an essential document that they need to apply to the armed forces. Right now, it's around 10 persons every month. And consider that Portugal is a country with around almost 11 million people. The army, the navy, the intelligence services, all of it, they have been recruiting hard. They have been growing. The production of drones, the production of light weapons, the production of all of it, it has been increasing. The rearmament is increasing. We, right here in Portugal right now, we are spending more per capita, meaning in relation to the number of citizens, than you are. Go to Spain, same thing. Go to France, same thing. Go to Germany, up the roof. So much so that, like I told you, Germany is installing a quick response brigade in the Baltic states. Poland has just shown Russia their army. And they have shown him that they can be in Moscow in 1 week or less. Oh, they have nuclear weapons. Yes. So France. France also has them. Even your NATO commanders right here in Europe, where you have nuclear weapons, they are also compelled to use them, even if your little bitch president doesn't want to. They are in the NATO chain of command, and the UK also. You American YouTubers, Democrat YouTubers, you are talking about things you do not understand. You are applying your reality to Europe. And this is why I am having this rage video. Because you simply do not understand reality. You don't understand Europe. You don't understand the fucking world. You don't understand Canada. You don't understand bloody nothing. And you come out and you spew some shit out and you think, well, this sounds about right. Do you think just because your president says, no, you got to buy our corn? France buys American corn, for example, but it's corn produced according to the rules of the European Union's market and France's own rules. Portugal buys a lot of meat, for example, from Brazil and from Argentina and Uruguay, and we have been buying that meat for ages. When there was not even half of the countries that exist now in Europe and it was all divided in empires, we have been buying that. We have been buying that meat since the time when Brazil was a part of the Portuguese Empire. Do you think we magically stopped buying it just because of the... No. We just told the people that are selling us the meat in Brazil, and in Argentina, and in Uruguay, and in South America. These are the three main countries that I recall. We just told them this: look, now we have to abide to these rules, so the meat that you send us will have to be certified accordingly. You want to know what they said? Okay. And they stopped doing it. Why? Because they are normal. The same goes when Portugal or Spain or whatever, the EU sells into South America. And now with Mercosur, things are even easier. And I hear a YouTuber in America saying the infrastructures are still not done. They cannot redirect their producing. Brazil is producing the Portuguese new airplanes to transport troops. It's a Brazilian company that also has Portuguese capitals. They are producing the new transport airplanes that are going to replace the American transport airplanes right here. You talk about things without knowing what the hell you are talking about. And this bloody annoys me. Why? Why did you feel the need to see a side of one, see one side of, look at me. I give myself time to listen to those people talking shit. But I give myself the time. I hear what they say. I go to the other side and I see if it coincides. I listen to Fox sometimes when I want to understand what is happening. Like I told you before, I recently just opted to go just for the summaries of things and whatever, because I cannot bear the amount of shit that comes out of their mouths. Because it's they look like attack dogs constantly. They are worse than me. Right now, like I told you, this is a rage video, but I'm calmer than they are. And you are unable to go into European news, to go to the facts and explain them properly. Sorry, it's this cable. It's constantly. I'm old school, okay? I like my headphones with a cable attached. And you are unable to go to the source of the news and listen to what the hell you are talking about and understand when you are wrong. Look, I'm not saying you cannot give your opinion and say, I think this will happen because of this. I'm not saying that. You can have whatever your opinions you want. Look, like my dear grandfather, rest in peace, used to say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Crude, but effective. This is the same man that told me that sometimes it's better to shut your mouth and listen so that you don't make a mockery out of yourself. First listen to understand what is happening, and then if it's correct, if it's timely, open your mouth and speak. Other than that, shut up. This is an advice a lot of Americans should take in. Because you don't understand how life happens here. You don't understand why, how we have what you call rights, how we have all these free this and free that. We don't have free fucking anything. We pay taxes for it, and we don't take shit. So, if I'm on my vacation, you don't fucking bother me. Unless there is something some kind of a crisis. For example, right now, and again, I cannot talk about my job description, but I have to keep my cell phone. It has to be on not on, but able to receive messages and whatever, because there might be a situation, very rarely it can happen, but it can happen, in which I need to present myself in my place of my employment. I have to go there. But again, like I said, I cannot talk about my job description. But this is an example. This can happen. Or for example, you might be in your vacation, and for example, your boss is doing something, and he doesn't know where whatever is. He can pick up the phone and ask you, sorry to bother you, man. Can you tell me where is the documentation for this or that? But this implies a relationship of trust with your boss. But you want to know why what? You want to know something? Your boss will try not to say that, not to do that. Here it is even a crime for your boss to go around in your Facebook or whatever. They have tried it. Look, they have tried it. They have presented cases in the court, and all those cases have been terminated. They all say the same: private life, private life, intimacy, violation of workers' rights. This was one of the things that the idiots in charge were trying to change in the law. Guess what? It got canned because it goes against our constitutional rights. And again, I will say this: Americans, this is not the United States where you can change or bend your constitutional rights. Here, they are absolute. There is no fucking around. Portugal is the only country, is one of the countries in Europe that, like Germany, has a little clause in there saying that all fascist authoritarian regimes, by analogy, it's all authoritarian regimes, not just the fascists, but that is constitutional law that I would have to spend an hour or two explaining that to you here, but that bans specifically all kinds of authoritarian and fascist regimes. So a little joker like your little president, as soon as he started to talk that shit, and if he even reached the point where he could talk that shit, he would be instantly suspended and run out of office. No jokes, no questions, nothing. If you don't know this, we even have a prime minister, right? That was in preventive jail time, and that is now defending his position in a court of law, and innocent until proven guilty. No doubts about it. I have nothing to say about that, nor should I say, because it's currently on trial, and it would be a violation of that person's rights. But if you look it up, you will see who it is, and you will see what is happening and what has happened to him, and what happens to everyone here. Is this an utopia? Is Europe an utopia with no corruption? No, of course not. There is corruption. There is corruption wherever you find people. The question here is what degree of corruption you admit and tolerate, and what do you do about it? You do like the Americans that put on frog suits and go on protest on the weekends? No. You stop the country, just like we did 2 or 3 times last year, like I just told. And this year too. And yes, and this year also. I don't recall if it was in January or April, I don't recall. Again, this video, summing it all up, is just to tell you this: don't listen to these people when they start to say Europe will have to do this, Europe will have to do that. Don't listen to that, because it's the opposite of the truth. How can you force someone to buy things that you are not even able to produce? This is the first threshold that you have to say. He wants a nice catchword to present in the primaries that he's going to lose to the Democrats. This is what he wants. He wants a distraction from the humiliation he is suffering in the Hormuz Strait. He wants a distraction from his alleged crimes and from the crimes that him, his family, his friends, and his associates are now committing, siphoning money out of your pocket, Americans. And instead of focusing on that, let me look you in the eye. Instead of focusing in that, you want to know what you are doing? You are watching the sitcom and smiling and saying, oh, look at him, he can't walk, oh, he's wearing a diaper, whatever. There is a reason why I told you that I found it morally incorrect to mock other people's disabilities. I don't find it morally correct, and I decided just not just speak about the actions of the person. And there's also another reason for not to doing that, and it is you don't get distracted with the symptom and with the details. Because this, you wanna know what all of this is? This is a fucking distraction for you to not see what is coming for you. You are already seeing it, a lot of you Americans. And if you think I take any pleasure in knowing there are people living in cars or living in the street or not being able to feed themselves and their family or to eat contaminated food or being treated like shit or starving to have health care, if you think I'm pleased about that, then you have not listened to me and you have not seen any of my videos in which I make my opinions and make my positions crystal clear. I take no pleasure in seeing other people suffering. None at all. I do, however, I don't shut up when I see something is wrong. And that is all I have to say. Sorry for the bad quality of lighting, but if you don't know this, it's around almost 40 degrees Celsius positive, even in the coastline. I think around here we are at 35 or something like this. It's 40 inland. Because we are suffering a heat wave from the climate change, a lot of you idiots in the Americas don't believe in. Yes. And let's see what awaits us in winter. Because apparently, what we didn't get during this time, that cold breeze that used to refresh Europe a bit, we are going to get it in cold come winter. But let's see. I'm one of those types that believes in science, okay, and that believes in reality, and that likes to live in the real world. You know, I don't like to live in delusion and in fluffy clouds and self-entitlement, which is one of the biggest sins of humanity, in my opinion. But Americans, don't worry. There are a lot of self-entitled people in the world. You can join hands and sing a choir while the volcano blasts you all into smithereens. I'm sorry. I'm very angry about this, and it has been seriously annoying. No. Thank you all for listening to me, folks. I hope you liked the video. I'm sorry for the minor interruption in the middle, but you know, these things happen, and at least this way you know I'm not AI. Okay? Folks, have a great day, great evening.